We are currently living through a strange historical paradox. We are the most educated generation in history, yet we are the first generation likely to end up poorer than our parents, even if we follow every single piece of advice they gave us. Think about the standard roadmap you were handed. Study hard, get a degree, find a stable corporate job, buy a house as an investment, and drive a car that reflects your professional status. It worked for them. In 1980, the average house in the U.S. cost about 3.5 times the median household income. Today, that ratio has doubled in many cities. In Europe, the gap is often even wider. Most of us are running a race using a map drawn in 1994. The terrain has changed, but the direction stayed the same. And that's the problem. Your parents aren't trying to sabotage you. They love you, but they are teaching you how to survive in an economy that no longer exists. They are teaching you to be comfortable in a world that has become predatory toward the comfortable. Let's look at a typical professional. Let's call him Marc. Marc is 28, living in Chicago or perhaps Amsterdam. He earns a respectable $75,000 a year. On paper, Marc is winning. But let's look at the math, the quiet, daily math that Marc tries not to think about. After federal and state taxes, health insurance, and retirement contributions, Marc's take-home pay is roughly $4,400 a month. He lives in a nice apartment because his parents told him that living in a bad neighborhood is a waste of life. That's $1,800. He drives a certified pre-owned Audi because, as a professional, he needs to look the part. That's a $450 car payment, plus $150 for insurance. Then there are the student loans, the good debt his parents encouraged. That's another $400. After groceries, a few dinners out to maintain a social life, and his phone bill, Marc is left with maybe $600 at the end of the month. If you were in Marc's position, would you keep up the appearance of success, or would you move to a cheaper area and drive an older car to save your future? I'd love to hear your honest take in the comments. Marc isn't failing because he's lazy. He's failing because he followed the safe advice. He bought the middle-class starter pack before he could actually afford the lifestyle it represents. The hidden flaw in the parents' playbook is a misunderstanding of what an asset actually is. Your parents view a home as a primary investment and a car as a sign of stability. In the 20th century, they were right. Inflation was lower, and real wages were climbing. Today, the system is designed to keep you in a cycle of payment-based living. When you buy that car on finance, you aren't just paying for the metal and the leather. You are trading your most valuable asset, your time, for a depreciating hunk of machinery. If you invest $450 a month into a low-cost index fund starting at age 25, by age 65, you have roughly $1.5 million. If you put that same $450 into a car payment every 5 years for the rest of your life, you have a garage full of scrap metal and a lifetime of stress. Looking at these numbers, does it make you rethink your own current car or housing situation? Tell me if you ever felt pressure to buy something just because it was the grown-up thing to do. Your parents see the monthly payment. They don't see the opportunity cost. They see the $450 as a bill to be paid. A rational actor sees that $450 as a missed opportunity to buy their future freedom. We've been conditioned to think in terms of, can I afford the monthly payment? Instead of, does this purchase bring me closer to never needing a paycheck again? Why do we do this? It's because of a psychological phenomenon called social proof. Your parents' generation grew up in a time of incredible expansion. To them, debt was a tool to accelerate a guaranteed upward trajectory. If you took out a loan for a house or a car, the economy would eventually bail you out through wage growth and property appreciation. But today, debt is a weight. We are pressured by our families and our peers to maintain an aesthetic of success. Your mother might ask when you're going to stop renting and stop throwing money away. Your father might suggest you trade in your old Honda for something more reliable for your commute. Have you ever had that uncomfortable dinner conversation where your parents question your financial choices? How did you handle it? Let's talk about that in the comments. They are optimizing for your status in the eyes of the neighbors. They aren't optimizing for your solvency. There's a quiet dignity in being the person in the room with the cheapest car, but the largest brokerage account. But that is a lonely path. It requires you to look at your parents, people you respect, and realize that their financial intuition is biologically outdated. It's like trying to run modern software on a computer from 1985. It's not that the computer is bad. It just wasn't built for this environment. Consider the concept of the job for life. Our parents grew up believing that loyalty to a company was rewarded. They stayed for 30 years, collected a gold watch and a pension. Today, companies view you as an entry on a spreadsheet in the US and Europe. The quickest way to increase your salary is to switch jobs every 2 to 3 years. But our parents often view this as unstable. They worry you look flaky. They suggest you stay put and wait for a 3% raise, while inflation is eating 4% of your purchasing power. Following their advice on career loyalty is often a recipe for stagnating wages and career burnout. The same applies to the way we consume information. Our parents' financial world was managed by experts in suits, the local bank manager, the family accountant. Today, the gatekeepers are gone. You have more financial power in your pocket than your grandfather had in his entire office. Yet, many of us still feel the need to seek permission from the older generation before making a bold financial move. So, how do the financially aware actually behave? They don't seek stability through ownership. They seek agility through capital. The financially intelligent person in their 20s and 30s accepts a lower standard of living than they can technically afford. They understand that every dollar kept away from a landlord or a bank in their youth is worth $10 in their 50s. They don't view a house as an investment until they've done the math on maintenance, taxes, and interest. Often, they realize that renting a small apartment and investing the difference in the global economy is a more rational path to wealth than being house poor in a suburb they don't even like. They treat lifestyle creep like a terminal illness. When they get a raise, their lifestyle stays exactly the same. The gap between what they earn and what they spend is the only number that matters. This isn't about being a miser. It's about realizing that the world has changed. The safety nets are gone. The pensions are disappearing. The stable job is a myth. In this new world, the only real security you have is the capital you control. Wealth isn't about the size of your house or the logo on your steering wheel. It's about the number of days you can live without a paycheck. For most people following traditional advice, that number is dangerously close to zero. If you feel behind, it's likely because you've been trying to play a game using the wrong set of rules. You've been trying to please a generation that grew up in a different world. And in doing so, you're sacrificing your own future. It's okay to drive the old car. It's okay to live in the smaller apartment. It's okay to say, I can't afford that, even when your bank account says you can. If you had to choose between looking successful now or being genuinely wealthy in 10 years, which would you choose? Be honest in the comments. The goal isn't to look rich. The goal is to be free. And freedom usually requires you to ignore the well-meaning advice of the people who raised you. It's a quiet realization. But once you see the system for what it is, you can't unsee it. If this perspective resonated with you, you might find my other videos on the psychology of wealth helpful. Consider subscribing to stay in the loop. Until next time.